Okay guys, welcome to another Khan support video. This one's on two-step equations word problems. Let's go. So it says Floyd is an aspiring music artist. He has a record contract that pays him a base rate of $200 a month and an additional $12 for each album he sells. Last month he earned a total of $644. Write an equation to determine the number of albums Floyd sold last month. Well, he has a 200 base salary, which basically means that the equation is going to have a plus 200 in it because that's not going to change depending on how many he sells. That's just always there. It's $200 every month. That's what he can rely on. But then he also gets an additional $12 for each album that he sells. So he gets 12 times A, where A is the number of albums sold. So 12A plus 200 is going to be the expression for the total amount of money he earned, right? But it doesn't want an expression, it wants an equation. So let's write an equation to determine the number of albums A Floyd sold last month. Well, how much did he sell total? How much money did he raise in all? Well, the 200 plus the 12A must add up to the total amount of income he had, which is 644. There's your full equation. 12A plus 200 equals 644. Find the number of albums that he sold. Okay, fine. So you're going to subtract 200 from both sides. And let's just get the calculator out here. You're going to subtract 200 from both sides. So you get 12A is equal to then 444. And then you're going to divide by 12. So 444 divided by 12 will be the number of albums he sold. 37. So 37 albums. Okay, let's do the next one. 64 is 4 times the difference between Sarah's age, A, and 44. Okay, so 64 is 4 times the difference between Sarah's age and 44. So basically, if you were to think about the equation here, Sarah's age is A, we don't know what that is, and 44. So A take away 44 is the difference between Sarah's age and 44. And it's 64 is 4 times the difference, right? So 4 times that quantity, okay, should be equal to 64, because it says 64 equals 4 times the quantity of the difference between Sarah's age and 44. Now, technically speaking, if it was me, I would say that has to be absolute value around the A minus 44, because whether she's older or younger than 44 isn't said here. It doesn't state that, right? But if it was younger than 44, you'd end up with a negative number, which wouldn't equal a positive. So the way I would interpret this is with an absolute value, but it doesn't have an absolute value option here. So I guess you can just make do with A minus 44, assuming that Sarah's older than 44. It doesn't say that she's older, but we have to assume. All right, so there's your equation. Let's solve it. So I would just divide both sides by 4 first, because if you do that, you're going to get A minus 44 equals 1/4 of 64, and it'll be easier to work with. So I would divide both sides by 4. So I would just do 64 divided by 4, which is 16. And then you get A minus 44 equals 16. So how do you undo minus 44 plus 44? So really you're looking at 16 plus 44, which is going to be 60. So Sarah will be 60. And then you just check it to see if it works. If Sarah is 60, 60 minus 44 is 16. 16 times 4 is 64. It works perfectly. Like I said, in my opinion, it doesn't say whether she's older, so she could have been 16 years younger than 44 as well. In my opinion, you could have had it in such a situation where she was 16 years younger, so you'd say that she's 28 as well. Because she was 28, you get negative 16. But the truth is that whether she's older or younger, it's still a difference in age, right? So anyways, that's my opinion, but that's not what Khan thinks. Khan left it the way it was. So next question. It says John read the first 114 pages of the novel, which was 3 pages less than 1/3 of the novel. Write an equation to determine the total number of pages in the novel. So he read the first 114 pages of the novel, 114. That was equal to, right, 3 pages less than 1/3 of the novel. So that would be 1/3 of the novel, whatever the length of the novel is, the number of pages in the novel, P, 1/3 of P, right? But it's not a full 1/3, is it? It's 3 pages less than 1/3 of the novel. So put that in. There we go. Okay. So this is 1/3 of the novel, number of pages of the novel times 1/3. this isn't the total 1/3, right? This is 3 less than the 1/3. So that's why it's 1/3 of the novel. Take away 3 is equal to 114. If you solve this, you're just going to take the 114 and add 3 to it, because you're going to add 3 to both sides. That gets a 0 pair. So you get 117, right? And then you're going to undo times by 1/3 by dividing by 1/3, which is the same as timesing by 3. So let's times it by 3. And there you go, 351. So if the novel was 351 pages, let's see if this equation makes sense and it works. If the novel was 351 pages, then you take the 351 and divide it by 3, and that would be 117, which is 1/3 of the novel. He didn't read the full 117, he read 3 pages less than that. So if you take away 3 from that, does it give you the 114 that you expect? Yes. So it makes sense. All right, this last one says, Tim answered all the questions on his math test, but got 10 answers wrong. He received 4 points for every correct answer, and there was no penalty for wrong answers. His score was 76 points. So if we're thinking about that, he earned a total of 76 points. We know that he got 10 answers wrong and received 4 points for every correct answer. So if we set this equal to, well, the 76 is the total points he earned, right? And we know that he got 10 questions or 10 answers wrong and received 4 points for every correct answer. So if you took that 76 and you divided it by 4, that would tell you the number of questions that he got right? Because he got 76 points, and it's 4 points per question. So 76 divided by 4 would be the number of questions that he got right. And we know that that number of questions that he got right isn't the total number of questions, because he got 10 wrong. So if you take the number of questions he got right and you add 10 to them, which are the number of questions he got wrong, together that would equal the total number of questions, which is Q. Okay? So 76 divided by 4, 76 points for 4 points per question. So that would be the number of questions that he got right. The 10 questions that he got wrong, together the ones he got right and wrong, add up to the total number of questions. That's how you'd set the equation up, which means that if you're solving this one, it's actually quite straightforward. You literally just do 76 divided by 4. That's 19. So you got 19 questions right. He missed 10 other questions. So how many total questions must there have been? There must have been 29 total questions. That's how you do the problem. All right, so we're going to say we're done there and stop.